In the past 24 hours, US don't send over 50 war jets to Iran, and a lot they happen for Iran right now. They receive and hot. And now these people will be say when they talk about Biafra, you think say they joke, and when Israel they talk about Biafra, you think say they joke. When they talk say it's not possible for them to come Nigeria and pick waiting be name and Tinubu on our president. And I think say we know they possible. We be say person wey dey for im country pick the president of Venezuela, and a person will be say una no dey fear. Right now, Russia don't even back up, don't send their fighting ship for Iran, so they don't block the over two sides. So I go allow una just watch wetin they go on and listen to wetin Donald Trump don't talk. He don't declare total war for Iran right now. So a lot they happen. So anywhere we una dey, they think say this journey of Biafra no go dey possible. This man, once he don't take it serious, once he don't take Nigeria as a particular concern, once he don't take am serious, no say everything have been actualized. I no go talk much. I go make una listen, pay attention, share this video to everyone on every social media platform so that they go see wetin they go on and write freedom for Biafra and freedom for Mazen and the Cow. A lot is about to happen. This man is not going to take it lightly. Listen to wetin they go on and the war jet where they don't send, and again wetin Donald Trump talk at the ending side. The ending side is most important. We be say you go listen to wetin Donald Trump talk about even some countries we be say we know they do well and wetin they go they do. Listen to wetin in talk and share this video. Everyone Nigeria they well, I'm not going to talk much. Pay attention and share this video to everyone on every social media platform. Listen and watch to the end.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries. Among the regime's very first acts was to back a violent takeover of the U.S. Embassy in Tehran, holding dozens of American hostages for 444 days. In 1983, Iran's proxies carried out the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut that killed 241 American military personnel. In 2000, they knew and were probably involved with the attack on the USS Cole. Many died. Iranian forces killed and maimed hundreds of American service members in Iraq. The regime's proxies have continued to launch countless attacks against American forces stationed in the Middle East in recent years, as well as U.S. naval and commercial vessels and international shipping lanes. It's been mass terror, and we're not going to put up with it any longer. From Lebanon to Yemen and Syria to Iraq, the regime has armed, trained, and funded terrorist militias that have soaked the earth with blood and guts. And it was Iran's proxy, Hamas, that launched the monstrous October 7th attacks on Israel, slaughtering more than 1,000 innocent people, including 46 Americans, while taking 12 of our citizens hostage. It was brutal, something like the world has never seen before. Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terror and just recently killed tens of thousands of its own citizens on the street as they protested. It has always been the policy of the United States, in particular my administration, that this terrorist regime can never have a nuclear weapon. I'll say it again, they can never have a nuclear weapon. That is why in Operation Midnight Hammer last June, we obliterated the regime's nuclear program at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. After that attack, we warned them never to resume their malicious pursuit of nuclear weapons, and we sought repeatedly to make a deal. We tried. They wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. Again, they wanted to do it. They didn't want to do it. They didn't know what was happening. They just wanted to practice evil. But Iran refused, just as it has for decades and decades. They rejected every opportunity to renounce their nuclear ambitions, and we can't take it anymore. Instead, they attempted to rebuild their nuclear program and to continue developing long-range missiles that can now threaten our very good friends and allies in Europe, our troops stationed overseas, and could soon reach the American homeland. Just imagine how emboldened this regime would be if they ever had and actually were armed with nuclear weapons as a means to deliver their message. For these reasons, the United States military is undertaking a massive and ongoing operation to prevent this very wicked, radical dictatorship from threatening America and our core national security interests. We are going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. It will be totally, again, obliterated. We're going to annihilate their Navy. We're going to ensure that the region's terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region or the world and attack our forces and no longer use their IEDs or roadside bombs, as they are sometimes called, to so gravely wound and kill thousands and thousands of people, including many Americans. And we will ensure that Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's a very simple message. They will never have a nuclear weapon. This regime will soon learn that no one should challenge the strength and might of the United States Armed Forces. I built and rebuilt our military in my first administration, and there is no military on earth even close to its power, strength, or sophistication. My administration has taken every possible step to minimize the risk to U.S. personnel in the region. Even so, and I do not make this statement lightly, the Iranian regime seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost, and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future, and it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran. We ask God to protect all of our heroes in harm's way, and we trust that, with his help, the men and women of the armed forces will prevail. We have the greatest in the world, and they will prevail. To the members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the armed forces, and all of the police, I say tonight that you must lay down your weapons and have complete immunity, or, in the alternative, face certain death. So, lay down your arms. You will be treated fairly with total immunity, or you will face certain death. Finally, to the great proud people of Iran, I say tonight that the hour of your freedom is at hand. Stay sheltered. Don't leave your home. It's very dangerous outside. Bombs will be dropping everywhere. When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take. This will be probably your only chance for generations. For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass.
The United States is moving its chess pieces closer to Iran in an attempt to trap the opposition. Over the past 24 hours, more than 50 U.S. fighter jets have reportedly been moved towards West Asia. And these aren't ordinary aircraft. They are some of the most advanced machines in America's military arsenal. F-35 stealth fighters, F-22 Raptors, and F-16s. Along with them, several refueling planes have also been reportedly spotted. And that detail matters because refueling aircraft are not just for show. They allow fighter jets to fly longer missions, striking targets further away without the need to land. According to open-source flight tracking data, there's been heavy movement of U.S. air power towards bases in both Europe and West Asia over recent days. And the buildup isn't only in the skies. President Donald Trump has already sent the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln into the Arabian Sea. And reports now suggest that America has deployed around 12 ships in West Asia across several bases, including 2 destroyers capable of long-range missile strikes. All of this is happening while the US and Iran are also sitting across the table, holding nuclear talks in Geneva. The US wants Iran to give up its nuclear enrichment, one way or the other, which Tehran says is strictly for civilian purposes.
Iran has consistently pursued a strategy aimed at the peaceful use of nuclear energy, while demonstrating readiness to address any concerns regarding the nature of its nuclear program and to ensure its exclusively peaceful character. It was on this basis that Iran entered into nuclear negotiations and has continued until very today. A review of the course of these negotiations speaks volumes. The Islamic Republic of Iran has consistently affirmed that it neither seeks to manufacture nor to acquire nuclear weapons, which have no place whatsoever in Iran's national security doctrine.
Well, talks in Geneva were held behind closed doors, and after they wrapped up, Iran said that both sides agreed on guiding principles. But US Vice President J.D. Vance says Tehran has still not accepted all of Washington's red lines. Iran's foreign minister says a detailed proposal to bridge the remaining gaps will be presented in the next 2 weeks. For the Iran-US relationship, diplomacy rarely stands alone. It usually arrives with pressure, and Trump has been threatening military action against Iran for weeks now. He's also hinted at regime change. Iran, too, is sending a message. It's now joining with Russia to conduct naval drills in the Sea of Oman tomorrow. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei issued 3 warnings aimed directly at Washington yesterday. First, he said the US will never be able to eliminate Iran. He then referred to America's naval deployments near Iran, warning that Tehran can sink them.
It seems to them that, and the U.S. president keeps saying this, the U.S. Army is the strongest army in the world. The strongest army in the world may sometimes get slapped so hard that it cannot stand up straight.
But in the end, this isn't just diplomacy, because when fighter jets take their positions, this game of chess could turn deadly. Well, for more on this now, we have with us Simon Maybon, who's a professor of international politics. He's joining us live from Lancaster in the UK. Welcome to the programme. So put simply, just how significant is this US military build-up, do you feel?
I think there's 2 ways of reading this, really. The first is that this is all about sending a message to Iran. It's about posturing. It's about signifying strength at a time when the negotiations are going on or when they're continuing, but they're continuing under the sort of the broad spectre of a possible US strike. And that is clearly designed to put pressure on Iran, to ratchet up the pressure, and to really try and make it so that the negotiations go in favor of the US rather than the Iranians. So that would be the first one, to say that this is more about a sort of a symbolic posturing, if you will. Whereas the second one pertains to a more worrying scenario, which is to say, look, the US isn't really serious about diplomacy, and that it is just readying itself for a strike against the Islamic Republic of Iran. And that is a deeply worrying conclusion to reach. It's not one that I've reached as yet, but it is one that a lot of people are very anxious about, myself included.
Well, given what you say there, I mean, despite all this, I mean, to what extent is there still a chance to avoid a military confrontation?
Well, there's certainly a chance to avoid a confrontation. There's certainly opportunities. The fact that the 2 sides are embroiled in talks and are continuing the talks, this will be a 3rd round of dialogue, 3rd round of talks between the Americans and the Iranians. And that, I think, is a positive sign. As long as the talks continue, there is a hope that a deal can be reached. And if a deal can be reached, then, according to all parties, we would avoid the possibility of a military escalation and a military conflict. But if we don't see a deal, if we don't see the talks continuing, if the proposal put forward by the Iranians is not deemed satisfactory by the Americans, and that's when the anxieties really come to the fore once more. There is a lot of firepower in the Arabian Peninsula right now, in the various seas around Iran. So it's a very worrying time, but there is a chance to avoid a war.
And with that worrying time, as you say, I mean, if the talks should fail, what might the consequences be for the region and indeed beyond?
Well, the Middle East is a key strategic point for a number of different reasons. Of course, we have the sale and distribution of natural resources, oil and gas, for example, that travel through the the Persian Gulf, through the Strait of Hormuz and onto the sort of global markets. We have global supply chains that feature heavily within the Gulf. We've got huge ports in Dubai and in the UAE more broadly that are prominent within global supply chains. And so all of this means that if there is a ratcheting up of tensions, if there is a conflict, then the capacity for it to affect people around the world is very clear, be it in terms of the cost of fuel, the cost of gas, or indeed the cost of goods that are produced in other parts of the world and then distributed through global supply chains. So there's a lot of scope for that to reverberate. But I would also say that the states in the Gulf, states in the Middle East, are working very, very hard to try and put pressure on the Americans not to strike Iran. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, the Kuwaitis, none of them want to see Iran decimated by another military strike. None of them want to see regional instability. And so we know that their officials have been working back channel lines of communication to try and urge the Americans to make a deal and not to engage in a strike. And I think that's got to be the way to go. Try and find a way of making a deal.
But the problem is not about the deal. The problem is about the dictatorship and the killing of its citizens. Over 50,000, they are even saying 90,000 people were killed. Can you imagine that? And all this country, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the rest, has never condemned what Iran did. Even Russia, China did not condemn what Iran did to its own citizens, because that is what they also do to their citizens. Just of recent, Russia has killed his most, that is, the person that was next to him, where he arrested, he killed him for inside prison with poison. The news is going viral everywhere. The same thing with China. The same thing with North Korea. The same thing with all these dictatorship countries. That is why they are always supporting Iran, because they are all the same people. They are the same people. They are not democratic countries. They are all countries that want to continue in power like it's an inheritance. That is the difference between them and America. America know what is called diplomacy. Democratic country. But Iran, North Korea, China, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, those ones are those people that that dictatorship for their country. That's why they are all supporting Iran. If not, why are they supporting Iran? Why did they not condemn what Iran did to its own citizens when they were protesting? Why did they not condemn it?
With wetin dey go on right now, wetin I dey perceive right now na Third World War wey dey console, because if you look at wetin they don talk for long ago about the Third World War, you go see say na like this wey be say the thing dey take style, because Iraq no wan gree and all the whole countries don dey fight. Everybody don dey bring out their war jet because they know say the time don dey reach. And this thing, the same thing wey dey talk for Bible wey go happen, and this thing now don dey happen. So, and if you look at the way Donald Trump dey go right now, in dey attack many people wey be say they attack the Christians and people wey dey against the Christians. So to show say the time for this Third World War don't they reach. So it's better everybody to embrace the movement to they go on, and also may they pray for your family, they pray for yourself, make you, in fact, make God accept your soul in case if the thing reach your side, because the way the thing they take go right now, many people no go survive this thing. And I hear say they don't launch the one where they launch for Iran now, right now, where we say they feel and hot, they feel the basketball. So a lot of things don't they go on. So I go give an update on every single thing where they go on. Make sure say you share this video to everyone so that they go they ready on their alert of what they go on, and may they know say if Donald Trump they talk about anything about Biafra, may they know they play with them, or may they know they joke with them. If they talk say they won't do this, they won't do that, may they know they joke with them, may they not think say the movement never come to stay. So long live Biafra, the people of Biafra, and Mazina the Kal will be free now. Our prayer. So may we pray for Mazina the Kal and they pray for the people of Biafra. Don't forget to share this video to everyone, and don't forget to click the subscribe button for more updates. Share this video, and the only way on a fit take encourage supporters. Thank you.